There is one macronutrient that everyone obsesses over, but quite frankly, people don't know enough about, where to source it from, and what it's important for. We're talking about protein, and I'm going to break down quite simply what protein is, how it can be implemented, the sources where you can pull it from, and what it's actually used for. The most simple way to break down what protein is let's think of letters and words. Protein is words. Amino acids are letters. Certain letters make certain words. When we want to make the word muscle, the protein muscle, it requires a specific arrangement of letters, amino acids, right? So the important part is to get the correct amount of letters and the right letters to ensure that we can create the correct word. If we choose amino acids or get amino acids from things that are not going to be incorporated in that word within protein, then we're in trouble. That's where quality protein comes into play, but also understanding which amino acids are incorporated within that protein. When we look at whole food nutrition versus supplementation, this is where we can really derive what is going to be important for our goals and what is not. So let's talk about this even further. What we know is that isoleucine, valine, and leucine are the three most important essential amino acids for building muscle. Now, there are other amino acids incorporated within that, but some we can either get from our food sources, and some we can actually build or create from inside the body. So that's where we get into essential and non-essential amino acids. If we have a wide and diverse and full nutrition intake and diet, we are going to provide ourselves with enough protein and amino acids to create muscle. As we start to train and as we start to get bigger, our amino acid pool and our requirement from protein is going to increase. That's when we start to see that the traditional approach to nutrition or diet is not going to be enough. As we put on more muscle, training starts to increase, the recovery starts to be more important, we're going to see that our requirement will go up. Now, that doesn't just mean we just take protein from wherever it may be. Those who are vegan or vegetarian might easily find that they are going to have a harder time building muscle and recovering because the letters contained within the words that they are eating are not sufficient for what they're trying to do. Now, that isn't to say that vegans and vegetarians cannot have an astounding physique or put on muscle. They're just going to need to be more conscious about the letters, the amino acids, that they are creating into the words that they want. This delves a little further, right, in the conversation of other proteins that we ingest that we think get used for other reasons. Like, for instance, collagen. Collagen is a big one, most notably for females. They ingest more collagen for the improvement of, for instance, skin quality, right? But collagen, again, is a protein. A protein is a word. Your body takes that word and it breaks it down into letters and puts those letters wherever it wants them or needs them, right? So just because you ingest collagen does not mean it is going to go to collagen within the body. Just because you ingest animal protein with the right amount of amino acids does not mean that all those amino acids are going to go to muscle, which is exactly why when you eat a pound of beef, you don't put on a pound of muscle, right? Because everything within your body has proteins, anywhere from your hair to your organs, to your skin, to your nails, all those sorts of things require protein. I create this because I want to create this video because I want to create a better message and understanding of what protein is. Yes, we understand that protein builds muscle. We understand that ingesting protein, and especially essential amino acids like leucine, creates a more anabolic process and gets the body to want to build more muscle. But at the same time, the amount of protein and the quality is going to be of utmost importance. Most of you track the amount of protein you're eating or have a protein goal that you want to hit. That does not necessarily mean that that is the requirement you need. I always like when people are like, yeah, well, I need to hit this macro, this amount of this macro, this amount of another, this amount of another. I say, how do you know that that number is what you need? Quite frankly, you can use the most sophisticated calculator in the book, but you'll never know exactly what that requirement is, number one. Number two, that requirement changes day to day. You might need 150 grams of protein today, 157 tomorrow, 142 the day after, so on and so forth. So this is where it becomes important to increase the amount of frequency of protein that you're getting in and feedings of protein and the amount. I don't like to limit myself solely to a number or my clients solely to a number. I like to use that as a guide. There are certain feedback within a program or someone's physique or training which can allude to the need or requirement for more or less protein. It is good and okay to start with a calculator to get a general idea. It's quite simply put, the 1 gram per pound of body weight is a great place to start, or even 1 gram per 1 kilogram. It's like anything in your training program. You start with something, you see what the effect is, and then you adjust. It's all reactionary. Some people do better on higher protein diets. Some people, the higher protein diets bog down their digestion. Remember, at the end of the day, your needs are going to be different from somebody else. You might be able to affect a better result or respond better to a different amount of protein than somebody else might be. The core of the conversation today is understanding what protein is. I explained that it is made up of amino acids. Not all amino acids are created the same. Amino acids are letters, protein are words. Specific words are specific functions within the body, right? This word might be for muscle. This word might be for skin. This word might be for hair or nails. But the specific word which creates muscle is made of a specific amount of letters and specific letters themselves: isoleucine, valine, and leucine. Now, ingesting so much of those amino acids to the point where it gets ridiculous is not going to mean that you're going to be building more muscle, essentially. But you do need to have enough of those within the body because they cannot create them themselves. Now let's talk about quality of protein. A lot of people like to eat these Quest chips or these Quest bars, and I'm just shitting on Quest because, quite frankly, Quest sucks. There was a lawsuit about their fiber content not long ago. You can look that up. But they do not disclose their amino acid profile. A lot of protein companies do not. Supplement companies that provide protein do not. You want to take a look at that, or at least have an understanding when they put in how many BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, essential amino acids they put in there. When you hear BCAA, what you're really thinking of is that isoleucine, valine, and leucine. How much of that is incorporated within each serving of protein? If that is not given to you, guess what? You can have 30 grams of protein in this protein bar filled with words that have nothing to do with muscle, and words that broken down in the letters are not going to be applicable to muscle either. That's why it's important to always have an idea. So while we look for the thing with the highest amount of protein, at times the highest amount of protein is not the most effective for you, is not going to be the best quality for you, is not going to yield the best results, and you might be better off with less protein but of a higher quality. It's always important to look at whole food nutrition as a way to get your protein in, because a lot of these supplement companies, they're not regulated, have a way of manipulating the numbers and their customers in order to make sales, obviously, and rightfully so. Can't really blame them. That's the nature of the business that they're in. So when we look at the quality of protein, always keep in mind where you're getting it from. More is not always better. Quality over quantity, that should be the theme of every part of your program, including your nutrition and training, but coming to specifically protein, that's what's important. Hopefully you learned something today, something new about the most important macronutrient when it comes to muscle building. If you like information like this, would like more, make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you'd like more information on what it would take for us to work one-on-one, for me to coach you or anyone on my team to your fitness goals, feel free to fill the link and application in my bio, and we'll reach out to you. If I sent this video to you directly, feel free to message me back via direct message with the words "I'm in," and I'll know that I need to get that information to you.